Welcome to the Worst of the Riot podcast. Coming up, if you would vote for literally anybody else in the next election, you're in luck.
Also, Gen Z is claiming they're having their midlife crisis in their early life, and more on the Worst of the Riot podcast.
You ever experienced this before? It's a beautiful day outside, but you don't really feel into it. You don't feel up to it. So you're not going to go out and enjoy the beautiful weather, but instead you're inside observing that there's beautiful weather outside, knowing that you can't go outside and enjoy it because you don't feel up to it. And so either way, your day is ruined.
I experience this all the time.
You do?
Especially the worst is in the middle of the afternoon. I'll get home from work and I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Sitting here and talking every day just takes it out of me.
Does.
But I'll get home from work and I'll be ready for a nap just because I wake up so early. And it's when the days when it's beautiful outside, especially in the summertime.
Yeah.
I feel like crap when I'm taking a nap on the couch and I can see like these beautiful rays of sunshine just like creeping in through the windows, but I can't get off the couch. That makes me feel bad. Jim, my dog, is like next to me, poking me, trying to get me to go for a walk. And I'm like, Jim, not the time. Can you please sleep with me?
Well, will it make you feel better to know that there's now a word for this? There's a term to describe this feeling.
See, I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse. I'm one of many.
You're not alone in experiencing this. They call it now on TikTok. It's become known as sunshine guilt or sun guilt. The feeling when you can't go outside and enjoy the beautiful day, but you see that it's a beautiful day. And so you actually feel bad either way. You would feel bad if you went out and enjoyed it because you can't enjoy it because you're too tired or worn out or sick or whatever, or just lazy. But staying inside also makes you feel bad because you're seeing, it would be one thing to stay inside if it was rainy and whatever. You'd be like, well, nobody's out doing anything, but you feel like everybody else is out doing something and enjoying the sunshine and you can't. It's the sunshine guilt.
And then I ask myself at the same time, like, usually yet again, when my sunshine guilt kicks in, it's on a weekday in the middle of the afternoon where, like, nobody else that I know is available because they're all at work.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do as a grown man? Go frolic?
I'm sure Jim the dog would appreciate that.
Yeah, I guess I could take Jim for a walk. Outside of that, maybe some outside chores. Maybe clean up my yard a little. But other than that, there's many a days where I'm like, what am I going to do? Go out there and play?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you should feel bad. I mean, this is, even according to psychologists here I'm seeing, they say that this is a natural feeling that many people experience, so you don't have to feel bad about it, even though that's kind of the whole thing. To me, I'm a big proponent of fresh air and being outdoors.
You are.
So you'd think that I experience sunshine guilt, but I don't, and I'll tell you why. If I'm too tired to go outside and enjoy the sunshiny day, I just have a thing I tell myself. I just say, this isn't the last sunshiny day of all time. You just go out and enjoy the next one.
Tomorrow.
Another one will come along.
Precisely.
There's a whole song about that. The sun will come out tomorrow. You just do it then.
That's true.
You just because you can't enjoy the sunny day today doesn't mean you can't enjoy the sunny day sometime in the future. And I think that works pretty well for me.
Yeah, you just stay inside.
Yeah.
You just pack up your sunshine days. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of them that are coming up.
Yeah, that's right. It feels now, it might feel like they're few and far between, but they're coming.
Can you imagine if you walked into the studio and you were like, I just am so guilty. I can't get this guilt off my chest. It was a beautiful day yesterday, and I wasted it.
I've got to confess something. I didn't go out and enjoy the sunshine at all.
There's never been a can of worms they didn't open. The Riot, RadioU.
Medical history has just been made at Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston, where a human has received a kidney transplant from a pig for the first time ever. Is
this good or bad news?
This is pretty big news. That well, it's good news, right?
I guess so.
Sometimes there's not enough human kidneys to go around, and so then you've got people left with but there's people that don't have functioning kidneys at all. So they need.
So the pig ones. I mean, if we can take it from pigs now we don't even need human kidneys replacements.
Possibly not.
We can just use pigs only.
We can just farm pigs for the express purpose of stealing their kidneys.
Doesn't this feel like bacon should go down in price because of this? It feels like you're getting more out of the pig.
Yeah,
Now all of a
'cause,
sudden
I
we can
mean,
utilize the kidneys.
Well, what if though? Because if you go to like some what am I thinking of? Some grocery stores, some weird grocery stores, they sell like all the parts of the pig, right?
The whole thing.
So what if there's people? What if this means the price of kidneys is going to go up?
It's going to skyrocket.
Maybe there's some people that enjoy pig kidney as a delicacy.
Smoking a kidney.
Yeah, now they can't do this anymore. But it's pretty amazing that they were able to do this. And so now I have a question. Like, if you were a human that needed a kidney and you got a pig kidney, would you
feel shorted?
First of all, do you get a discount?
You have to, right?
I think that would only be fair.
Because like if you asked me, like if I got my kidney replaced, right?
Yeah.
And then I tell you like, yeah, but I didn't get a full size kidney. I got a pig one. There's no way it's the same size.
Yeah, I think
it has to be different in some
pigs
in
are
some
smaller,
ways.
right?
And what kind of effects does that have on you long term, you know? Like taking a pig's body part and just like slapping it on. Like imagine if all
don't
of a
say
sudden,
the word slop when we're talking about pigs.
Just feels,
it's a stereotype.
It feels like you're just slinging it in there, and it's like not the same as everything else. Like it looks different. It's kind of like
who's looking?
It kind of
who's checking?
Nobody is that's inside of you. But it does feel like you're driving a car and then you just slapped on like a new bumper that's not the same car. It's a completely different car.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess I would feel too that sometimes if you have an internal thing, every time that like something was going wrong with you, you'd blame the kidney. You'd be like,
must be the kidney.
Yeah, that's that dang pig kidney. If they just gave me a human kidney, everything would be better off for me. But I had to get with the pig one instead. But I mean, if you need a kidney, you got to be grateful whichever kidney you get. And now I wonder what other pig body parts are they going to start transplanting
the legs.
to humans? Whole legs.
Both legs, back legs.
Can we transplant a pig's tail?
I would like a pig nose.
You would?
You would think that I'd be able to smell better.
That.
What movie?
I think it's called Penelope.
Where she gets a pig nose.
Yeah. Let me look it up.
Well, I feel like for me, you gotta
either
think
it's called Penelope or it stars Penelope Cruz. I can't remember
one of the two.
Yeah.
It feels like if I'm taking things from a pig, there's not a whole lot of redeeming qualities from a pig that I could toss on my body that would probably look normal or be very usable at all.
Yeah, I think the kidney would have to be about the only one. Penelope, a movie starring Christina Ricci.
And she has a pig nose?
She appears to have here, look, see right there.
Oh my gosh! Pig nose. I take that back. I don't want the pig nose.
The benefit to being in this side studio is that I can much easier show you my screen.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's a positive.
Hudson is the maple syrup, and Isaiah is the power protein flapjack. This is The Riot on Radio U.
See if you agree, Isaiah. It's called the payday routine. And it's people literally showing the day that they get paid, how they allocate their funds. And they're doing it pretty specifically, as in like, I got paid this much this paycheck. This is my profession. And then here's how I budget it so that I can pay my rent and put stuff away in savings every week.
Interesting. Yeah. I think that's a pretty good trend.
Yeah. I think seeing other people do that on TikTok, seeing them, people that look like you, have the same job as you, make the same amount as you, being able to still figure out how to afford stuff, how they actually put money away in savings. That's got to be a good influence, right? Oh,
100%. But the thing about this trend is some people, I don't know how people are doing this, but they budget in a different way than I do.
Okay.
So there's a difference between budgeting forward and budgeting backwards, I think.
Okay.
Now let me walk through this with you, okay?
Yeah.
So for myself, I have a certain amount that I spend, and then I get paid. And then I know how much I'm going to be able to save, right? So if I got paid $100 over the course of a month, but I spend $50, I would pay off my credit card, pay off that $50.
Yeah.
And then I know that I have $50 that I saved that month to be able to put away. Some people do it in reverse. They get
it
their
sounds like you're doing it in reverse.
They get their $100, and then they're like, all right, I have $100 to spend.
Yeah.
Where am I putting it? And then when they get done, I guess, spending all their money, they're like, well, I have $20 left to save. I do it the other way.
I think the people that seem to do it properly, which is, I don't know if that's exactly relative, but or subjective, but the people that typically follow the 50, 30, 20 ratio
That's a
is
good ratio.
usually the safe way to go. And it's when you get your paycheck, 50% of it goes to bills, 30% goes to savings, and then 20% is fun money. That's
fun money.
Well, I don't know if it's all fun, but it's
McDonald's money,
just
baby.
spending. Yeah, if you want to go to McDonald's or whatever you want to do with it. But see, the people are doing the opposite of you, because then they can never come up short on a bill if you're putting your money towards bills when you at first get paid.
So you're prioritizing that.
Yeah. Some people do that, yeah.
Interesting. I do it the other way. But you know what? I can see why there's...
prioritize spending on your credit card.
And then I pay it off, and then I see how much, what the difference is.
How much you have left for rent.
Precisely.
And if the electric doesn't get paid this month, it doesn't get paid.
Well, I didn't save up for that, unfortunately.
Well, there's a lot of payday routines going around on TikTok that can hopefully be helpful to somebody, because it definitely sounds like some of us need it.
I would say the budgeting, yeah. And then your own little special way. Put your own twist on it.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Easter is coming up on Sunday.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm primed and ready for Easter.
You've been making Easter preparations.
I have been. I'm very ready for Easter this Sunday. I've been taking the past couple of days to really soak it in, get prepped and ready for what's going to be an epic weekend.
What are your preparations?
Just really getting Eastered up. Getting the eggs rolling. Yeah. I've been rolling a lot of pastel recently.
Okay.
And so that's a big part of Easter for me.
That doesn't sound like you at all.
Is getting them colors in there. So for the most part, I would say I'm prepped and ready. Chocolate. I need to re-up my chocolate game.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I have here the list of the worst Easter candies. I thought this would be a good thing to possibly open up to the Riot Hotline.
877-2-RADIO-U.
And people can just go ahead and text in either your guess for what you think is one of the worst Easter candies, or just which Easter candies you hate. Because I've got the annual list from candystore.com, the most hated Easter candies. And the number one on the list is actually shocking to me. It's not what I expected. But I'm not going to reveal what it is just yet. I want people to chime in. I know which Easter candies I don't like, but I'm shocked to see that it's a different candy than I would have ever suspected.
What I'm shocked by in this as well is that Easter on this list is the second ranking chocolate holiday.
I was looking at that too. Yeah, it's nearly equal to it's nearly equal to Halloween.
Right there. It's right up at the top there, because when you think about it as well, like Valentine's Day, you're getting chocolate for your significant other.
Yeah.
But a lot of times adults aren't doing a lot of chocolate. Like you might get like a nice little chocolate heart thing. But for Easter, your parents would get you a whole basket of chocolate.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And so not only are adults celebrating with Easter chocolate, but children are as well. Once you get the children involved, way more candy. I'm
surprised that it's nearly equal with Halloween, and then Valentine's Day is even behind Christmas.
I know, that's pretty shocking for me.
Yeah. But, and I was thinking about this, I thought maybe Easter has the best seasonal candy.
No.
Out of all the holidays.
It can't. You think so? I'm not as big of a fan of the Easter candy.
It seems like people disagree based off of what's on the worst candies list. But text in, let us know the Easter candies you hate at 877-2-RADIO-U. We'll have to see, can this list really be trusted?
Do yourself a favor and follow The Riot on Instagram at Radio U Riot.
We are looking here as Easter creeps up on us here. We only got a few days to go. Looking at the list of the most hated Easter candy from candystore.com. They do this every year. And we've gotten people sharing in their most hated Easter candy to see if it makes the list. What I have here at 877-2-RADIO-U, we have JJ getting in saying he dislikes with a passion. Wouldn't that just be hating?
I would say so.
Yeah. Peeps.
But we don't like to hate around here.
No, yeah. Well, we dislike with passion all the time. JJ says Peeps is one for him. Then that's what I expected. I expected that Peeps would be topping the list. Also, Emily saying Peeps as well. Peeps came in at number 3. The third most hated Easter candy.
feels like a good spot for Peeps. Because I think that Peeps are, a lot of people like them. I like Peeps.
Clearly, because they keep making so many.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
so prominently featured.
It's like the most well-known thing for Easter.
And
Peeps.
do you believe this too? Peeps, you look at you think about the ingredients. What is even in a Peep?
It's just sugar.
It's just sugar. It's got to be so cheap to make. I feel that if they sell like 4 Peeps, that probably covers them making 100,000 Peeps. You know what I'm saying?
No, I know what you're saying.
The profit margins have got to be off the charts for Peeps, which is why they probably make so many. But that came in at number 3, shockingly to me. We also heard from Jamie also saying Peeps are terrible. But then we heard from JJ as well, another choice, jelly beans, whereas Susanna texted in and said, you better not start hating on my black jelly beans. Jelly beans all the way up at number 10.
Well, jelly beans, there's a lot of different ones. There's a lot of different jelly beans. We've got like the Starburst Skittle ones.
Which are far superior to like Jelly Bellies.
Way better.
Yeah.
Way better. The original jelly beans, I do not like.
They're not good, and we all know there's worse flavors, and Susanna mentioned one. We're gonna dislike it with a passion. The black jelly beans are no good.
I mean, for me, absolutely not.
If they were isolated, I wonder if they could make it to the top of the list. But nobody, and this makes me have to question this entire list from candystore.com, nobody that I've seen so far has said what is actually, according to candystore.com, the most hated Easter candy, and that is Cadbury cream eggs.
I thought people liked the Cadbury cream eggs.
I love the Cadbury cream eggs. It hurts me that it would show up at number 1 as the most hated Easter candy. I think that's egregious. I think that's ridiculous. I think it's outrageous.
And you got to think, too, for Easter candies, the one thing about Easter is it has very specific chocolates with it.
Yeah.
Like Valentine's Day and Halloween and Christmas, they don't even come close to the specific candies that Easter has.
That's
when
right.
you think about Cadbury cream eggs, you think about Peeps, immediately you're thinking the big chocolate bunny. A lot of people, for whatever reason, are using marshmallow with Easter. I don't really get that, but at the same time, there's all kinds of marshmallow-filled chocolate that just goes with it with Easter, which I'm not really a fan of.
Yeah. You're right. There is a lot of specific... Easter has its most candy that is its own, that you wouldn't eat any other time of year. Robin eggs are on there as well. I'll tell you, let me give you the list real quick. So Cadbury cream egg was the most hated candy, Easter candy, according to candystore.com. Number 2, this makes sense. I didn't know this was a thing. Bunny corn, which is obviously just candy corn, but different colors that are Easter. Then Peeps, then marshmallow eggs, then... solid chocolate bunnies, surprisingly.
Shockingly.
High on the list. I mean, those aren't bad. Number 6 was chocolate crosses. That feels sacrilegious. I don't know why they even make those. It doesn't feel right. What other religious objects are we going to make out of chocolate? It doesn't seem fair to me. And then bubblegum eggs, Sour Patch white chocolate bunny. That doesn't sound like a good combo.
That sounds horrible.
And then Oreo eggs was number 9, and then jelly beans.
Jelly beans need to be way higher on this list.
Yeah, how could a jelly bean be better than an Oreo egg?
Jelly beans should be top 5 for me. I'm not, but a lot of, yet again, I know people like jelly beans. I do not.
Jelly beans is the only food that they make intentionally taste like throw up. Let that sink in.
What's wild about jelly beans is at one point in time, my dog Jim got into a bunch of jelly beans. He didn't even eat them. It's the only food I've seen him not eat. It's legitimately the only food I've seen Jim not scarf down. We had an Easter basket that was on the floor in my roommate's room, and he popped open one of the eggs. Jelly beans went everywhere. He tried them, didn't even eat them.
That's all you need to know.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on RadioU.
Isaiah, do you support this, that in China, many people are now showing up to work in what they're calling gross work outfits?
What do they mean by gross? Like, are they showing up dirty? I don't like when people show up dirty.
You know, like sleep shirts and pajama bottoms?
Well, that seems like what I'm wearing right now.
Yeah, that's why I feel like this is a trend that you may possibly get behind.
See, I'm not wearing, like, clothes that I sleep in.
Yeah.
I'm
Because you
wearing...
don't sleep in clothes.
Precisely.
Trust me, I know.
I'm working in this is like a comfortable crew neck.
Uh-huh.
I've got khakis on.
I see that.
Kind of khakis.
I don't know. You're asking me to confirm.
They're
yes, you're wearing
they're like
khakis.
sportier khakis, I would say. But I would say I'm not dressed up like a business, like a premier businessman.
Yeah. Well, we're not at a premier business. We're at a radio station. But these are people that are actually going into work in an office setting. Like you can see. But so what people are saying is like, why should I dress up to come sit at a desk? Like, why do I need to get dressed up? All I'm going to do here is sit here. So why do I need to look good to sit here? And so they're just wearing whatever they would probably sleep in. They kind of look like they're catching a red-eye flight or something like that.
Yes.
And I don't know. I feel like this is I'm in support of you don't have to dress nice. I'm fine with that. But this feels like what they're doing. It feels like they're dipping a level too low to me.
See, I would say as well, there's one thing that I don't like. I don't like pajama bottoms in public. I'm harshly against that.
The
I don't like
pants.
The flannel pants, you cannot be wearing those outside of your house. What are you doing wearing those outside of the house? Those look grimy. If you're going into Kroger wearing those darn things, that's ridiculous.
It seems like you're giving off the vibes that you have a cold right now.
Yeah, you look sick.
Yeah. You literally look like you're a person in a flu commercial.
And I know
flu medicine commercial.
Friends of mine like to they'll just go anywhere.
Yeah.
In those darn pajama bottoms. And I'm like, you can't be doing that. And I'm comfortable. I go out in sweatpants.
Yeah.
Cool with sweatpants. You can wear sweatpants anywhere. But pajama bottoms, if they have that flannel color, you cannot be doing that. That pattern, you cannot be wearing that pattern around pants-wise.
The enclosure, if the fly is only a button, it's
You're in
one
danger.
single button. Yeah, you can't leave the house. I don't care what's underneath. You can't leave the house.
You are
like
in
that.
danger. You cannot be flaunting that around.
Yeah.
As you're walking through any kind of business, especially work. If I walked into work with pajama bottoms on, I would feel as if I'm looking a little ridiculous.
Yeah, I would. It feels like some kind of violation. I'm surprised too that this is something that's taken off so much in China. I feel like they're way more about business.
I thought they weren't even allowed to do things like this. I thought they all had to wear the same clothes.
They had jumpsuits or something?
It feels like at their businesses they would have some sort of
dress code.
Some sort of dress code.
Yeah.
Seems like they're a little more strict
You know
than
what
we
that
are.
means?
What's that?
The Chinese are looking at us now. And they're thinking, look at them. They're so buttoned up. Yeah, geez, why don't they learn to let loose a little bit?
Or does this mean that we have a leg up on them all of a sudden? Are we all of a sudden, since we're coming in a little more primed up?
Yeah, a little more proper.
Is this our chance?
We can overtake them with our attire.
Or we know what this actually means.
What does it mean?
They aren't actually doing this. I mean, obviously, we know that they're formulating TikTok for us.
Yeah.
And so this is an actual trend that's going on. They're just showing us
they
this.
They sent this to us. Propaganda.
Exactly.
Trying to trick us into wearing pajamas to work.
Exactly. They're not wearing this to work. What are we thinking?
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow @RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
Presidential election coming up this year. Isaiah, have you decided who you're voting for?
Of course I have.
Well, you might want to think again. Because I have a candidate here you may not have heard of, but he's literally making a name for himself. It is a 35-year-old Army veteran in Texas, Fort Worth, Texas. He's a math teacher. His name was Dustin Eby.
Dustin what?
Dustin Eby. But in conjunction with his presidential campaign in 2024, he is actually legally changing his name to literally anybody else.
That's not a bad strategy.
It's a pretty good strategy, isn't it?
It seems as if he could get some votes doing that.
I don't know if it's going to be enough to win, but if you're going into the ballot box and you're not happy with the main options that you have, and then you see as an option on the ballot, literally anybody else, a lot of people are going to click that, if nothing else, to just be funny.
Yeah, you got to think.
Yeah.
A lot of young people would love that kind of an answer.
Yeah. Now, I don't think you're going to motivate a lot of fringe voters to go out and vote for you, or maybe you would. Maybe people would just sign up for this just because they think it's funny.
But what's he bringing to the table? He needs some good talking points that really could win him this vote.
Does he need good talking points, or could he just make this his whole campaign style? You know what I mean?
Just nothing.
Yeah, where he's just like, well, I'm literally anybody else.
I'm just that other guy.
People have been asking for literally anybody else for 8 years now, and here I am.
Here to answer your prayers.
Yeah.
Literally anyone else. And so I think for Dusty here, you got to think, changing his name, how long does he stick with this? Does he keep his name literally anybody else for how long? You got to think he's got to be switching it back if he doesn't win.
He's 35, right?
Yeah.
So he's got another 40, 50 years of running for president if he wants.
I guess so. I didn't even think about that.
And maybe you think even if this year may not be the year for literally anybody else, and for many people it probably does feel like that, but if this isn't the year, if this isn't the election cycle, then surely in one of the next 10 election cycles, one of them will present an opportunity where people would just be jonesing for literally anybody else.
Well, you got to think it's not going to change where we just keep on tossing 79-year-olds in there to have his options. So for him, it feels like he could have good opportunities every year to be literally anybody else, because no matter who you like, you always hate a couple of them.
That's right.
No matter how many people that you really enjoy, there's always a couple political candidates that you do not like. And every now and then they just make their way to the top.
And you have to think too, you think about presidential campaigns, when they whittle it down to two, when they really drain it down to just two people, odds are, what are the odds you're going to love both or one of those two?
It's kind of like March Madness. Like, your team is likely to get knocked out. Like, an upset's coming.
That's right.
Is it your team that always makes it to the Final Four? No. But by the time the Final Four rolls around, you got to make a decision on who you're cheering for.
Yeah. In sports, I always feel like it feels better to cheer against teams, because then you've got, like, if it's football, you've got a 31 out of 32% chance that you're going to win in the end.
Yep, you're going to be right. And even if they do win, it feels like even if they do win, you can always pick out something like, oh, this won't last. This is bad.
Yeah,
it's easier to cheer against.
In politics, you can just, the presidential campaigns, just cheer against somebody. But the problem is, I guess it's 50-50, but not once literally anybody else gets involved.
Not once that's an option.
Yeah.
Find more Riot content online. riot.radiou.com.
You've heard of the midlife crisis, right?
I have.
You're familiar. What if I told you, though, that people are now getting their midlife crises way too early?
Well, that would sound like something... if a midlife crisis, you got to think midlife.
Yeah.
That's like towards the end of your 30s?
Yeah,
40?
I think typically, usually around late 30s, 40s, yeah.
If you told me that earlier in life people were having their midlife crises, I would say that just sounds like a bunch of complaining 28-year-olds. That's what I would say.
It could be even earlier than that, and you would think too that with us living longer, the midlife crisis would come later.
Maybe like 45, 50.
Yeah, right. With life expectancy hopefully getting better, but instead, what is being found here is that like people 25 even and under are getting midlife crisis feelings.
No chance.
They're getting the same, because what do you associate with a midlife crisis?
Midlife crisis, questioning your career, your relationships, where your life is going, the time you've wasted.
Like, what do you do with a midlife crisis? A lot, like the stereotype is like, maybe you get divorced, maybe you get a nice new car, you buy a convertible, you're trying to feel young again, is kind of how I picture it. And supposedly that is what younger people are now doing. 25, like Gen Z, basically, according to some experts, is experiencing midlife crisis and kind of acting on that as much as they can. The difference is when you're, I think, like still 25 and going through a midlife crisis, your options are more limited because you can't buy a fancy new car as easily as you can. Once you're 40, you possibly could have enough money, or at least enough money to make a bad decision. You don't have that much money when you're 24.
You have no money.
If you're going through a midlife crisis.
That's the start of the crisis.
I guess, but if you look at it that way, that could be a positive.
You just build off of this.
Because a midlife crisis is generally associated with making rash, bad decisions later in life. If you, at 25, one, you're still making rash, bad decisions anyway.
This is just a normal Tuesday.
And two, you can't. These decisions aren't as uncharacteristic for you, and your options are more limited of what the bad decisions you can make even is.
And you have plenty of time because
to fix it. Yeah.
To fix it because you're not midlife yet. To me, this just sounds like a bunch of stressed out, 24, 23, 28-year-olds that are doing too much right now. You got to figure out. You haven't even seen the half of it. You gotta get to the midlife part before you start freaking out.
Now wait till you see what they are blaming this on.
What are they blaming it on?
Social media.
Is social media going to be just the toss-on blanket for all of our issues? That's what it sounds like for 25-year-olds.
I think so.
We don't go outside because of social media. Now I'm having a midlife crisis. It's social media. My eyes aren't as good. Social media. I mean, they're just tossing on everything nowadays.
So you know what we got to do? Ban it.
We got to get rid of it. We got to have the government step in and take it out because we can't ourselves navigate the digital world.
Yeah. Maybe that could be, if you're going through a midlife crisis, that could be your big, at 25, that could be your rash decision is just...
Deleting it.
Yeah, delete it.
Get rid of the social media.
Try it. Maybe turn the midlife crisis into a positive.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good midlife crisis.
Flip it around.
Or an early life crisis, I guess.
That's enough of that.
For more Riot content,
Head to riot.radiou.com.